Hey Southwestern, Commodore here with Cristovan Barca, our executive chef, and we've got lots to talk about. We've done a lot of work here in the galley, and want to go back in time a little bit, Cristovan, and talk us through, if you would, what was the state of the equipment back before we made our investment in this new hotline? You want to talk us through that?
Yeah, sure. It was old. First, all the way down at the end, we had our 4-drawer freezer, and it worked, but the doors were all loose and broken, so it didn't exactly hold temperature. And, fries would get soggy, lots of issues there. Then we had our fryer, which is still operating, but the thermocouple was broken, and it wasn't holding temperature, and it was starting and stopping. So that just needed to be re-upped as well. Our flat top griddle, again, another old piece of equipment. Underneath, the grease trap was leaking, so we couldn't use the oven that was below it because it was a hazard. We also have this big grill, and the griddle too, let's read that out. The griddle too, the left side didn't work, so we could only actually use the right side of the griddle. Same thing with the grill. We could only use the right half of the grill because the left side didn't work. And we only really used about half of it anyways, so it was really just taking up a lot of space. We also only had 6 burners, another oil leak underneath, and the oven didn't work properly. So we just needed more space here with only 6 burners. You can see we can't do much cooking. And lastly, the pizza oven only cooks at one temperature, and we never knew what that temperature was going to be. Sometimes it was really hot, sometimes it wasn't, and it just doesn't have a lot of space inside either.
Hey, thanks, Cristovan. That was a good overview. So now we're back to present time, talking about what we have now in the galley. So could you talk us through kind of starting on the hotline over there and kind of work us all the way back here to this beautiful piece of equipment behind me?
Yeah, absolutely. So that 4-drawer freezer I talked about with the broken doors now is a brand new freezer. We have all of our fried things, onion rings, tater tots, everything stored in there. It's holding temperature, working fantastic. We have a new fryer now that has its own built-in oil filtration system. So we're able to filter the oil twice a day, which is just making for better food quality and longer oil life. The flat top we got, the griddle, is also new. And instead of having that dead space underneath, we were able to put a 4-drawer refrigerated unit underneath that the griddle and the grill both sit on top of. So we have more storage there. It's also more efficient for service. The grill, as I mentioned, we didn't need the 48-inch grill. We only needed half that size, so we went with a smaller grill. But we were able to expand the number of burners. So we have twice as many burners, which is why food's coming out a lot faster now, especially off the saute station. And we have 2 ovens down below, and we moved the oven that used to be over here where the rational combi ovens are to the line. So we have 4 more ovens where before we had 0.
Wow.
So we've increased our output potential and also have equipment that works fully functional.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, one thing the membership is super excited about, can you talk us through what this piece of equipment is and kind of what it can do? It's somewhat a miracle, but talk us through what this thing can do for us in the kitchen.
I will do my best. That's like asking me what can an iPhone do.
Yeah,
it can do a lot of things. We can, right up here, you can see all of the different options. This is just vegetables, from meat, here, poultry, from frying to cooking, there, grilling. It does a lot of different things. It cleans itself, so you have your own self-cleaning, different options there. I can actually create my own programs with it. It tells me about how to take care of it. So this is just the continuous operation here. So we have it set on this for as we can just pull things in and out, cook it like a regular oven.
Nice.
But it goes on and on and on.
Yeah,
From
right.
steaming to air frying to slow braising to slow roasting. We actually have a smoker attachment too. So I smoked salmon in this oven last night and then ran the cleaning cycle, and it cleaned out all the smoke.
Hey, Cristovan, can you tell us a little bit about what's this piece of equipment right here?
Yeah, this is the iVario Pro Tilt Skillet. So it's made by Rational, so it has a lot of the same things just like the combi oven in the sense that it has a ton of different settings. I can do a lot of my own programming. Right now we're making our mashed potatoes in here. What this is really going to be built for is a lot of sauces and soups, but it's also a pressure cooker. So braising, rice, all those types of things, especially when it comes to braising, it's going to cut our braising time by like 60% at least, if not more. Sauces, soups and sauces are another part of it because it is a tilt skillet. So I'll show you on this side. This is going to actually help us so we don't have to be lifting hard, like heavy pots and breaking our back and everything like that. Tilts and it has a stand, so you just put your container here, dump that in, and when you're done, it automatically lowers back down. So I actually have some baskets coming with an arm here, so when we fill this up with water, it'll automatically boil pasta. That'll all be set on a timer. So it can do a ton of amazing things, and it's very hands-free with all the settings that I can program for it, just like the combi oven.
The other efficiencies or things you've done that are pretty cool using this new equipment?
Oh yeah, one thing right off the bat, and it was something I even timed out today, is that we had an old steamer over there, and that steamer, to steam broccolini, which we use on a lot of our plates, was anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes, and it really just depended on how well the steamer was working that day. And I clocked it in at 2.5 minutes today in this steamer. So right off the bat, we're just popping it in 2.5 minutes, taking it out, and it's ready to go straight out to the line. So not only is it helping our prep for the line in that sense, but when it comes to banquets, you can imagine how much faster that is. And the way that this cooks too is, it's hard to get into all the science in such a short period, but it holds the flavor in better. It keeps the flavor in, whereas your convection ovens like we have, they just blow hot air and it dries the food out. This works with more of a steam and a gas pressure, so it locks the flavors in. The reason I bring it up is it takes what was originally a two-step cooking process from steaming, cooling, sheet pans, seasoning, and then roasting in the oven. Now we're able to just steam it, take it out, season it, and serve it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, have you any cool foods you've prepared outside of what you did this morning in the oven that
yeah, yesterday I smoked some salmon using our smoker in the oven, playing around with the menu for the rum tasting, so that was cool. This bottom oven has a preset that I did for myself for prime rib. So I was able to lock in the time and temperature for prime rib in the bottom oven. So all I have to do is put the rib in there, press a button, it'll do everything itself. And I can do it overnight too.
This is my kind of cooking.
Yes.
My wife says I'm a microwave chef. This is kind of right up my alleyway. Is just pressing buttons.
Don't take away too much of my credit here, okay?
Right. I'm sure it's way more complicated.
I still have to figure out how to use it and season it.
All right, good.
I have to do all that.
Well, maybe I can't work up here after all, so
right.
I'm not qualified.
I'll teach you. It's
all right, good.
Yeah.
So one last thing. The food quality, consistency, and efficiency, can you talk us through results you've seen there?
Right off the bat, just talking about the broccolini itself, turning that from a two-step or three-step process down to a one-step process, and even just the cook time being 75% shorter. So that's one thing, but when you're doing that every day and you're doing it in larger quantities, it's going to add up. So it's all really going to add up. We're going to see it we're really going to see a difference come December. In December, we have all the holiday parties, all the banquets. I remember last year I had an average of 13 events every week for 3 weeks straight. So that's when we're going to see it. I was having to bring in at least one cook and one dishwasher from Quick every day, pretty much.
That's our contracted service.
That's our contracted service. And plus we had more staff at that time as well. And So all of that extra labor that I had to bring in, we're not gonna have to do that.
Nice. That's huge.
We won't have to do that.
Yeah. And ticket turn times, have you seen a difference in the food getting out quicker out to the floor?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So by having all 12 of those burners, we're really pushing a lot of food out from the saute station.
Yeah.
A lot faster. So now it's fun. Now it's like a competition to see who's faster. So I mean, Yuli's putting everything out real fast. So now the guys on the salads and on fry and on the griddle, they got to start working to keep up. So
yeah.
You know,
well, how about
overall.
the team? How about the team? I'm sure it's got to be nice to work on. Now we've got the cold line done, the hot line. How's the team taking to the new equipment?
Everybody seems pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's always a little learning curve, especially with the fryer. That's been the one thing that we're doing more and more training, and I'm learning more about it because I've never worked with one that has its own oil filtration system.
Which is pretty cool, right? Money saver, force time saver.
Yeah, so it's great, and the food quality's been way better as we're filtering the oil more frequently. So there's been a learning curve with that. Yep. So there's a lot of technical things with it, but it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's been happy with just the way that it's the improvement of the equipment.
Right.
You know, things are cooking better, things are working better, so it's less stress on the team. You know, it can get stressful when half your equipment's broken and you're trying to make things work. It's draining. So everybody just seems to have more energy and just are more fluid today.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, this was long overdue, and I'm glad we made the investment because there's a big investment between the two things. But I think hopefully you all are seeing an improvement in the food quality, consistency, and again, you've heard the efficiencies that are being realized back here, which was spectacular.
Yeah, definitely.
But Cristovan, I want to thank you for all of your efforts. I know you had a big hand in planning this out, and to you, the membership, for agreeing to fund this. Hopefully you're seeing the fruits of all this investment when you're coming to the galley and ordering up some food. We're trying a lot of new things out here with the new technology, and more to follow, right? We're still learning by the day.
Oh, absolutely. I'm even breaking out my textbook I have on baking and pastry because I know this thing
pastries
can handle a lot of different baking and pastry options as well, too.
Right.
So way better than those other ovens. So, we're going to be having some fun back here.
Awesome.
We already are.
Well, I know that's a lot of information, but we think it's worth you hearing where all that money we spent. Again, I think it was money well spent, and you're going to get to enjoy it. So, Cristovan, thank you very much for, of course.
Thanks, John.
And that's it, Southwestern. We'll see you next time. Full speed ahead out here.